What's up, guys?
Wait a second, I thought I was doing the intro. I'm kidding.
What's up, guys? We're back with another Griffin Station podcast. Here with my boy Samuel H. Small Dick.
Yes.
I was gonna say your last name, and then you're probably like, "Oh my god," going off a big rant. Okay, and also Brighton and me, Matt.
And Brighton doesn't have a last name.
Yeah,
I don't.
Brighton.
It's that guy.
Brighton
My
Large
full
Dick.
name is
Brighton.
that. Middle name Guy. Last name Bry.
We call him Brighton because we're lame.
And no, his last name is Large Dick, and the same as his Small Dick.
And Matt.
And mine is Medium Dick.
That's how we determine our rank.
Okay, this week.
This week, we're basically just going to talk over the new
We're gonna spend
mode in quotation marks.
we're gonna spend 5 minutes shitting on the new mode,
And then we're going to spend the rest of the time shitting on
on
Black
the
Ops
floor.
4.
And then we're gonna end it
Because-
by saying we love each other.
There's gonna be a lot of negativity,
Yes.
and if you hate BO4, this is the place.
But we need
for
to
you.
get it out of our system.
Even though it's not gonna be out
yes,
of
I
the
was going to
system.
say, even though it might reduce it slightly in future
No, it won't.
podcasts.
I guarantee it won't.
We can at least just explain it more
Yes.
about why we hate
Okay.
it.
Yes.
So, Jingle Hells. It is the new LTM released in the Season 1 update.
Not even really a mode.
Basically, to explain... Here,
Hold
let's
on.
explain.
Hold on, let me explain it
Okay.
real quick. It's zombies but boring.
Okay, that's Onslaught.
Well, this is zombies.
This is
but
a different
boring
version of
2.0.
Onslaught. No, so basically, what they did was the new additions to the game. There was 3 new additions. There was snowballs.
From Tog.
Yeah,
Not
that
a
were
new-
exactly
Yeah,
from
that's
Top
not
Gear.
even a new feature.
Snowmen and the Naughty or Nice drop.
And snowmen are from Origins. They're pretty much the dig sites where you can just knife them. You either get a zombie or you get a present. Which
Or you
gives
could get
like
nothing.
A
Or you
grenade.
could
I
get
get
nothing.
nothing. I get nothing most of the time.
Yeah,
And then-
me too.
Basically,
Actually,
from
zombies mostly.
the only purpose of the snowballs is to freeze zombies. They don't even one hit on round 1. And if you kill a frozen zombie, they have a chance to drop a present.
A chance.
That's the
And
only purpose of using the snowballs.
You could get coal out of that present, or even worse, the Magnum. Okay?
That's true.
Yeah.
And then there's the snowmen, as we just talked about. You break them, and they will most of the time release nothing, or they'll release a zombie or a present. And then there's Naughty or Nice drops. It's just a stocking drop. And if you're nice, it'll drop a present or however many presents for the people that are in the game. So 1 person playing, they'll drop 1 present. 4 people playing, they'll drop 4. Or if you're naughty, for 30 seconds, it's just like a plague hound round.
Pretty much.
They just-
I actually haven't even gotten that far. I literally played like 3 rounds of it. And was like,
And
this is
might I
so
say,
boring. I can't even play this.
The presents, I don't know, I haven't played Jingle Hells long enough to know if it's like a
I don't
box
think
hit.
any of us have. Yeah.
The
But
present-
from
the-
what I get, it's either like a low round box hit or just a very shitty version of the coffin.
No,
Easter egg.
they are pretty much just the
Oh,
box.
is it
because
just a
like
box?
lower
Okay.
rounds, you're gonna get greens, and then the higher
Okay.
rounds, I was
Because I've only gotten like shitty stuff, but then again, I've only played like up to
Didn't
round.
they disable the coffin Easter egg?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, no coffin Easter egg.
So,
So-
coffin or main.
Literally, they're I don't know. I just don't have no.
I
And
only
I would
play
essentially
Jingle Hells.
say it is a Christmas mod on the map, and then it took away some of the fun features of the regular map.
Pretty much.
It
The
didn't
box.
really add anything
The
that I
Easter egg.
liked.
Tried it to replace them, but kind of failed.
The box, the Easter egg, literally anything that is fun except for the core gameplay, which
Like
without those
you'll hop
features-
on once to see if we're right, and then you'll realize that we are right, and then never play it again.
I knew it was gonna be a mode. You played once, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna play normal.
I
zombies.
know.
Cranked
Yeah.
is not out yet.
Cranked can be fun.
Which is disappointing because that was the one I was looking for.
Listen,
Okay.
if Crank doesn't have the Easter egg, then I don't think it'll be fun.
If Cranked is literally just the same exact mode from apparently it was in Modern Warfare. I know it was in Ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah, let's not even
It's
talk
also in
about
COD
Ghosts.
Mobile.
Let's not even talk
COD
about. Man, I guess
Mobile.
COD Mobile.
Which is
If it's-
actually one of the better CODs, I would
Yeah,
say.
if it's the pretty much.
Speaking of, I don't play
If
Lloyd
it's-
his podcast.
If it's the exact same thing as Cranked in those modes, it's probably going to be boring.
No, there's gameplay of it.
Is there?
Yeah.
I
It's
just saw the Jingle Hells
It's
one.
30 seconds, and If you don't kill a zombie in that 30 seconds,
There's
you
only
die.
30 seconds. The game is 30 seconds long.
So it literally is
Great.
Yeah, you every time you kill, it resets the timer, so you have to be a little more strategic about, like, you can't just save a zombie and go do everything. Like, you have to keep killing, or else you'll blow up.
I hate to be, negative Nancy here, but that sounds really boring.
How is that really boring?
You know what sounds
That's
more
keeping
boring?
you on your
Jingle
toes.
Hell.
It's
Hells.
literally just killing zombies like the other mode.
Yeah, but
Okay, well, we
in
literally
this
just
one,
kill zombies anyways.
what I was saying,
Exactly. Why don't I play the other one?
No,
There's no motivation for me to play Cranked.
here was what I was saying. If it has the Easter egg, it'll be fun to do the Easter egg in that, because then you're not going
It's
to be
like
able
a
to
cool
save
challenge.
zombies.
Yeah.
I guess I'll play it a couple times, but still, it's not like a multiplayer mode like Grief.
What it needs to be, the side mode needs to be, I think, a PvP.
Mm-hmm. Because that gives you more incentive to play it other than the normal mode.
Or give this mode a way to get weapon XP faster.
Listen,
because weapon
that is
XP
true.
is very slow
It's-
if you don't
yeah.
have double XP.
That is
Listen,
pretty
here's what we
ridiculous.
need.
I have
We need-
I have a 15-minute double weapon XP token.
Oh my,
Bro, I have like
Yes.
3.
oh my God, it's Jason Bourne.
Okay,
Jason Blundell.
Jason. Oh my God, it's Jason Blundell.
here's what we need. We need Gauntlet, but good. Gauntlet was a
That's
good idea.
true. Gauntlet's a great idea, but the challenges were stupid.
They need to think more about
Yeah.
these challenges. Like, if you get to a round that says spend 25,000 points, you're sitting there at 1,000, you're like, well, if I'm...
And I think that is a great transition to Black Ops 4.
Oh,
where
no.
where to
Well,
begin?
hang on. But we need to make absolutely sure we're done with everything before we start with Black Ops 4.
That's fair.
Because Black Ops
We
4
are
is-
not
Once
gonna
we
stop.
go Black Ops 4, we're not going to go
Once
back.
we go black, we won't go back.
I mean, literally, Jingle Hell is just like a Christmas mod of the regular map.
Yeah.
But just they took away the box and a lot of the main fun
I'm
stuff.
interested to see Cranked, but I don't have that much faith. Okay, I just think it's stupid how every year, Zombies is the third game mode. Every single year.
Even though
I think
like
it's
the most
proven to be
popular.
more popular than multiplayer in this game.
Probably.
I wouldn't
And they
say more
still
popular
give
than
less
Warzone,
content.
but I would say it is more popular than
Yeah,
multiplayer.
Warzone's
Yeah,
definitely the top game.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I understand,
Multiplayer,
that's
I've
what they're
heard.
making the most money off of. But, like, Zombies this year has proven to be more popular and more fun than multiplayer.
Yeah.
Which I can
I've heard
see,
people complain
we're
about
only a
multiplayer.
month after launch, and it's already the most popular, so they probably weren't expecting that, considering...
That's true. So this
Yo,
press they
4?
probably already had, like, in place.
They definitely already had this, so maybe down the end of the road, we will start seeing
Just
more
bring
zombies
back
content.
Grief.
I think that, okay, if you have a really solid map, and maybe if you change up the regular Grief, like the original Grief's game mode, like mechanics a little bit, maybe make it a little more interesting, I think you have potential for Grief to be like
Well, I
super
thought Grief
popular.
was already... I think
I
this
think
game
it
works
was,
better.
but it was still pushed off to be, just like another mode. Most people, after they played it, after like the first month, they didn't really play it that much anymore.
Yeah, but
They
I
need to
think,
make more longevity.
I
to
think
that.
this game has
Yeah.
the potential to
I
have a
think
way
so,
better
too.
Grief with the
I
whole
think so,
systems,
too,
the
yeah.
armor, the exfil. Exfil would be fun. Like, instead of just survive till the end of the round, you win. You have to survive it, and then
Yeah.
exfil, and then the exfil's harder. Like that would be fun.
Yeah. I think a good transition to Black Ops 4 now. So are we done then?
I like
I
what we're
think we're
saying.
done.
If we just say the transition, let's just go.
I think the transition, which I've already mentioned before, is a perfect Grief opportunity would have been Black Ops 4 and Tagged or Toten.
We talked
When
about
we
this
had
last week.
12 characters. Yeah, I already said this. We had 12 characters, which is, we have 12
Yes.
characters on a multiplayer map.
Yes.
And it would have been in the Great War. Would have
Well, they
had a
didn't
many
have-
different weapons.
But they didn't have the Great War, though.
Exactly.
We had Tog
Exactly. So
Dude, which
let's
was way
begin.
better.
Some would say Tog Toten's the best
Okay,
weapon of all
what do
time.
we want to
Should we start at the beginning?
Let's
In the beginning.
Let's start our road through Black Ops 4.
Let's just
let
start
me
with
explain
launch.
my hype.
Okay,
Let's
we can
all-
explain
Yeah,
each.
hype is good.
Okay,
Let's-
we'll do our own stories of. Let's start with the reveal. We'll tell our stories about what happened during the reveal, how we felt afterwards. You go first.
Okay.
The reveal came at probably the best time because the hype was sort of dying down from Chronicles, and then they come out, and I remember just being the most excited I'd ever been for a COD game because they announced the 2 maps, and they were like, it's a new story, and we were like, okay, whatever.
We're telling our stories.
And then Jason Blundell, he walked out on stage and he's like, actually, we have another experience for you. And I was like, okay. And then you heard the Mob of the Dead theme, and then it came up on the candle, and then the camera went up and you saw
Yeah.
Primus
Mm-hmm.
in Alcatraz, and I lost my shit. That was
Yeah.
probably the most
Yes.
hype I have ever
And then you
been
had
for a zombie.
And then you had Where Are We Going playing in the
Yeah.
background.
And then, just later down the road, they revealed the Black Ops Pass. And there was a little thing in the corner that said, you get the Black Ops Pass, you get access to Classified. And if you zoom in on the Classified, in the A, there was a Pentagon symbol.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that got people hyped.
Yeah.
That, and then, like, just more and more, and before the game came out, we got that Classified trailer, and it was that classic, like, you know, that retro-looking trailer, and we got the Blood of the Dead cinematic trailer.
Oh.
It's still my favorite trailer.
Yeah.
to
It's-
this day.
it's
really
That
good,
is
yeah.
the best zombies trailer ever. Even though the map, I wouldn't say the map's bad. The gameplay. I think all of the BO4 maps are good. It's the gameplay.
So it's not good.
So it's not good.
So like, think about Cold. Here, go back to Cold War. I don't think if you put D Machina in BO3, it would probably be like a C or B
True.
tier map. But I think
Especially
the
at the
gameplay-
time of BO3.
the gameplay.
Yeah, that is true.
And imagine if you put Cold War's gameplay in like Horizon. Oh, because I think Cold War has the best gameplay,
Mm-hmm.
but I think BO3 has the best maps. So I think BO4, I don't think the maps
Has
are bad.
neither.
The maps aren't bad. I would say some of them, like 9 and Ancient
Yeah.
Evil, are probably great maps. It's just you don't want to play BO4 because BO4 just does not
Yeah.
feel good to play.
Okay. I'll tell my story. I remember it was the last day of school, the reveal event, like the live stream. And we had 2 hours dedicated for this last class in the final. But our final was kind of like a project that we'd been working on anyways, so I already had my final done. So it was just 2 hours to do whatever. So I knew the live stream was happening, so I got on and I watched the live stream. And I saw the trailer for Voyage. I was most hyped for Voyage of Despair because
Out
I
of
saw
all of them,
Okay, no, I didn't know Blood. I didn't know Blood had
Yeah,
happened
okay.
yet. It
I was
just
gonna
showed
say-
9 in Voyage.
any zombies fan would have been most hyped for Blood.
I saw. I remember. Well, at first I remember when they started talking about zombies. I forgot the guy's name. He was like standing next to Jason Blundell, and he was like, "This game is meant to last."
Well, the game was supposed to have 2 like Black Ops
Yeah.
Pass. Like you buy, and the second Black Ops Pass was gonna have the 3 Ether maps were gonna be Buried, Transit, and Die Rise, and they're
Mhm.
built. They're in BO4. They're just not released.
And then I saw 9, and I saw how it was like kind of gladiators. I thought that was cool, so I was like, that's alright. And then I saw the intro cutscene for Voyage of Despair. And that really got me because I kind of got like Mob of the Dead, Shadows of Evil vibes. Well, Shadows of Evil mainly vibes. And I was like, okay, this is going to... Because I love Shadows of Evil. And then finally, everyone had been begging for a Mob of the Dead remaster. And then I saw the same thing you did. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I was so hyped. Especially since I started playing zombies like mainly with World War II.
Yeah.
If that gives you any idea. So
So-
then I played the older games and I had a lot more fun, and then there was no content being poured out because no one's trying to play World War II at the time. So I was thinking, sweet, there's going to be all kinds of content. I don't have to watch videos from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then everything just kind of went.
It came out.
Yeah.
No, I
So,
will say the
care to share your story, Matt?
the first 2 weeks of BO4, amazing, best times I've ever had playing
Yeah.
zombies. Like I prestige maps.
Then you realize you wanted to kill yourself.
That's true.
It's like
It is.
Transit.
It is. Transit comes out, you're like, dude, this
It's
is
like, yes!
awesome.
And 2 weeks later, you're like, no! This sucks!
So what was your story, Matt?
Okay.
How did you...
Mine was, what really made me mad is the fact that I couldn't watch the actual live stream as it was happening because I was at work. But I didn't get the same like, oh my god thing you guys did because I instantly looked up Black Ops 4, saw Blood of the Dead at the top.
Well, of course, yeah.
Because
Obviously.
because everyone was most hyped for that. So I saw that there was like 3 zombies maps. I was like, no way, 3! Oh my god, it's gonna be
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, that's what I thought too. Like
3
Yeah.
maps, 3 full maps, not just a remaster.
Especially,
of a
this was
small
before
map.
I bought DLC, so I was thinking, sweet, I don't have to play the same map over
Yeah.
and over again. I got 3 maps.
But I was So I got really hyped for it. I instantly watched Blood, obviously.
Well,
I didn't really like that it was a teaser trailer, but even a teaser trailer was enough to make me just shit my pants.
It's because they're teasing you. They know this is the one you want to see the most, so they're like, we're going to make you wait.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the biggest thing, though, I saw Voyage 9, and I instantly knew that these characters, this story is not going to make it. I'm going to be completely honest. We have tried so many times to have a different story, and nobody likes them. The only thing that people like is Primus and Ultimus and Ether.
They want the crew. It doesn't. You can have different versions. Premises prove that, but they want the crew. You can have little side shoots like Shadows of Evil, Call of the Dead.
Which is why
that's why I was kind of thinking that Chaos was going to be as like a Victus crew deal, like it was still going to be in the same.
Yeah, which is why I like the Cold War story, because it's still in the same universe. They just have different crew.
Yeah.
Even though I don't really like the characters, obviously, because they're just operators, but it's still the same in the same universe. So I like that. I know that it has potential because it's in the same universe, and people are still going to be hyped because of that fact. I just didn't think at the very beginning. I was like, dude, I knew. I was like, I don't think this is going to make it.
What was the point where you guys realized that this game might not be the best? The point I realized was whenever I started watching streamers and I saw the perks.
The perks attributed to it.
That's the first sign I saw that there was no jug, there was no like main perks. Everything was just pretty much thrown away from the perk system.
For me, I don't really think it was the perks, because I thought that could have been a good idea.
I think the Chaos maps was.
I think the idea behind was good, trying to eliminate crush perks,
but you made more.
It did a horrible job.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're not running Quick Revive and Dying Wish, you're handicapping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that eliminating Jug wasn't such a bad thing, and giving it to, because I mean it kind of took away from what I hate most about a game is like getting to like round 6, right when you're starting to get set up and then dying, and you're like, man, I don't really want to restart now, because it's just the worst feeling, because you're not really that set up, because like you're just starting out the game, but then you just die right there and you're like, fuck, I don't want to restart.
I do not mind, because if you stay in the starting room until round 6, then it goes fast. Like you can get to round 6 in like 4 minutes, and then you can just run through the map, open a pack, boom, in like less than 10.
I don't really hate the fact that you have Jug pretty much all the time, like in BO4, if they do it right, I guess, because it's easy to make it too easy. Honestly, if you always have Jug, it's really hard to die, kind of. So I think it had potential. The person had potential.
When BO4 came out, you had 3 hits, and then you were down.
Yeah.
And they had to up it, because people were playing on casual. They're like, I'm not going to play on normal because it's too hard.
Yeah.
Like, that's what hard should have been, was 3 hits.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm glad they went up to 4. But the fact that they added in Quick Revive and Dying Wish really kind of made it a little bit too easy.
That Quick Revive, thank God they went to Cold War. Okay. Should we get the good stuff out of the way?
What do you mean?
Like, we talk about the good things that BO4 did before we just completely
that's true. Okay, so everyone go around. What's one good thing you like from Black Ops 4?
Honestly, I don't really hate... The only thing I hate from Blood of the Dead is the Easter egg. That's the only thing I really hate.
That's true. If you play Blood of the Dead and you don't play the Easter egg, it's not that bad.
It's not. I honestly, to me... I sort of prefer, like, if that gameplay was in 3, I would prefer that map design, except for the new industries, to the original. Because I feel like it's not as tedious to do things, like, because I love Mob of the Dead, but I think it's a little tedious to get Pack-a-Punch. Like, if you want to repack, you gotta go all over the map, get the fuel tanks, and you gotta do all of that. And, like, it sucks in 2-player co-op, because then you can't carry multiple at a time. 4-player, it's not as bad because you can have one person going under the docks. But if you're playing 2-player, you can only grab one at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Solo, it's not that bad, and 4-player is not that bad. But 2 and 3, you're going to be running all over the place. And that, for me, is where I think Pack-a-Punch needs to always be accessible easily.
New industry. Like, just the spawn, the lab just need to go away.
It can be there, but I think after you do that boardwalk run, gone. You don't go back there.
There's no purpose to. There's nothing over there.
The cool thing about
the only thing that's over there is the magma cat.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, what do you want to call it? Stove, oven, whatever.
The thing I liked about New Industries is since it was disconnected, if you couldn't have gone back there after that, like, run through, like, the catwalk, and then you went back there for the boss fight, like, you had to gain access back there since it was the lab.
Actually, the thing, I always train in New Industries.
Really?
That's always been my train, and I made it to like 50 one time, and I quit because it got boring. But I always thought it was a pretty good train. I went back over there a decent amount of times. Plus, you have to go back over there for the Easter egg and for the Magmagat and for the skulls. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. Besides that,
the Magmagat easy exploit with it. If you build the Acid Gat right beside that, the Magmagat's better. So like you can go if you run out of ammo on the Magmagat, go get the Acid Gat, and then go back and get the Magmagat in its full ammo. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to wait anymore. Now I got to around like 156 on that because the Magmagat is just so OP. Mm-hmm. If you can't buy where Jug used to be on the other side of that gate, you'll never die. Mm-hmm. Because if you have like the Death Machine, you can shoot a Magmagat down. Here comes Brutus, pull the Death Machine out, you're done. That's another thing, which we'll talk about more about that in the negatives, is how easy it is for the specialists. Because I think that helped towards like...
Especially if you kill a horde of zombies and get like a sword for like a minute and a half that just destroyed everything.
And give you armor. Go invisible.
Yeah, and give you armor and give you like invisibility. Mm-hmm. And okay, there's so many things I want to talk about right now.
Let's talk about another.
Let's keep going.
I liked split screen pause. It was very small.
Online pause.
That was good.
Yeah, or online pause. Yeah,
pausing.
We really have to rack our brains to think about shit like that. It's good for BO4.
That's why I liked. Gosh, what else could I say that I'm glad?
Max Ammo's refilling.
That's a good one.
Carpenter's
Carpenter's refilling.
That's good.
I was hoping they'd go back and like patch it into BO3, like do a hot fix, but like that was just wishful thinking.
That was a great addition. I
think. 9 and Ancient Evil were good maps.
Now, I remember before in the reveal, people were like, "Oh, so we're only going to get to use melee weapons on 9?" Nobody's saying that. No one is.
Yeah.
No one is saying that. What made you think that?
Yeah.
Like, sure, in the trailer, they're only using knives, but like, they're not going to pull out a fucking 1911 and start shooting people. Like, I don't know where people got that idea from. And one of the good things, it wasn't explored to the potential, was custom mutations.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like custom mutations.
At the reveal, my biggest question coming out of it was like, they were like, we're introducing custom mutations. This is going to be able to change the way your entire Zombies game plays. You're going to be able to customize everything. And that's what I wanted to know the most about. And they didn't say anything about it until the game came out, and I saw that it was a little rudimentary.
Yeah, well, it was.
On top of that, it was in BO4, so like even still, like though it was a great idea, you're still not going to want to play.
I think if those same settings were in BO3, it would be amazing.
Oh yeah, you could do so many.
You could do so much with BO3, especially having all the doors open, or like hamsters only.
Yeah. See, like, there's just so much potential. Like,
now, I had fun with it, like, doing, like, Brutus-only challenges on Mob of the Dead, just seeing how far you could go just fighting Brutus. Mm-hmm.
I think Gauntlet was a good idea, but just executed poorly.
Same with Rush. I like Rush, how it, like, forces you to, like, go around the map, and it's competitive, but it's not PvP.
Alright.
Okay, so does that wrap up the good things?
Let me think anymore. I remember the one elixir I liked. There's a bunch of elixirs I like. Point drops.
Blood of the Dead ending cutscene. Blood of the Dead ending cutscene
was good.
One of the best cutscenes ever made.
I think the
story was amazing.
Say what you will about Voyage, but its Easter eggs are great. That boss fight.
I haven't seen the Easter egg in a while.
That boss fight is one of the best boss fights in Zombies. It just sucks it's in BO4.
Yeah, and in Voyage of Despair.
Dude, my gosh, Togder Toten's boss fight?
Yeah.
How it wasn't there?
Okay, Togder Toten has to come last because I will go on for...
Yeah.
We'll go through the...
I remember
I can't wait to get to Togder Toten.
About DLC 4.
God, dude, I could say so much shit about Tog. I could say so much shit about Tog, but we'll get there.
And they didn't go all out with the creative class, like... Cold War did, but that's because they had the rarity system. But like,
creative class at that time
was like, whatever.
Creative class at that time was still like very like new.
Okay,
World War II started.
Just bring the strife with the knife on it. This is the leather knife, and you're set.
Let's just start mainly with the mechanics.
Let's go. Should we do launch or should we do like gameplay first?
Let's
just start throwing out things that we didn't like and then talking about them.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
okay, because
since you said launch,
so new point system.
Dog shit.
yeah, it's awful.
New point system.
Done much better in Cold War.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, it's like, imagine Cold Wars, but you still got points from shooting zombies, but you could only get a certain amount. And there's always a point cap on a zombie. Like in BO3, you can get as many points out of a zombie as you want. You just gotta be smart about it. But no matter how smart you were in BO4, like say you shot a zombie, so like say you kill a zombie, you get the 50, like you shoot him, 5 times, you get 50 points from the 10 shots from him. And then you get the killing points, which if a gun was like 50 or 60, I think. But then say you knifed a zombie, you get the bonus 90 points for knifing the zombie, but you only get the 50. But if you shoot a zombie, it takes away from the 50. So there's always a point cap on a zombie. Like you can't, they took away the shooting and then knifing them to get more points. You would always get this, just knife them. There's no reason to shoot them anymore. And then that also made SMGs useless, because the only reason you would get SMGs was because they were point guns. But the point guns in this game were shotguns, because they only took one shot to
I
kill
think the
them.
point system was just all messed. I think it was a stepping stone to get to Cold War, though. We can all
That's
agree
true.
that they refined it in Cold War, so we can respect BO4
That's
for
true.
being like the sacrificial lamb for the shitty point system.
I guess.
BO4 is everything that we saw negatively in BO4 that changed for Cold War.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah. One of the main things I didn't like was progression. Like, literally, you're given everything that you would want to get at the beginning.
Yeah.
Pretty
You start
much.
out with a katana that can one
Like,
shot on
first
any
of all,
round.
Yeah.
First of all, there being no jug means that's automatically something you're not going to
Well-
strive for. Then, what?
You didn't really. There was one perk. I think it was Dying Wish. You didn't get it first,
That's
but you didn't have to get it. Wait very long to get it. Like
That's
it was
true.
like level 10 or something.
Then the specialist you already got. Then what else would you try to get? Oh yeah, the perks. Like usually I'd strive to get all 4 perks, and I do that in this game, but it didn't feel as necessary. Like the perks more so felt like add-ons that you'd like to have,
Yeah.
rather than perks that's like, okay, this like I need to
Yeah,
grind to
you
get
need-
this. Like
yeah.
I would focus on getting my guns before I'd focus
Yeah,
on getting
oh,
the
yeah.
perks.
Yeah.
Except for aside from Dying Wish.
And the only reason you would ever get all 4 perks because they added the speed cola bonus eventually.
that's
Yeah.
true. And double tap.
And will you get the modifier for the 4th perk, which I think sometimes that kind of got overpowered.
Mule
like
kick
for
was great.
like stamina up, like it would give you unlimited full sprint.
I would always have stamina up in my
Yeah, me
modifier.
too. Yeah, me too.
I also didn't like how the perks had no like identity. There was no perk jingles. Like whenever you,
Yeah.
that's one thing
You
that
just
I
saw
liked
the
about
brew
perks.
machine and you're like,
Yeah,
yay.
that was one of the things I liked about the perks and helped like give them personality was their like songs that went with it, and like what their machines looked like.
Yeah, and this one it just changed the logo on the top, and if you were on,
Like
and
that's
if
one
you weren't on a PS4 Pro or a PC or an Xbox One X, the logo wouldn't even change on top. It would just be blank.
That was one of the saving. That's one of the saving graces of original Deadshot was even though no one would buy it and even though the perk sucked, at least it had a cool jingle.
Yeah.
And you'd run by it and be like, I love you, Deadshot.
Did they? Did
Well,
they
we
have
don't love
Deadshot
you. We
in
just like
BO4?
listening to your.
Did they have Deadshot in BO4?
They had Deadshot Dealer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, you just
Did
don't
they add
use
that
it.
in later on?
No, that was a
That was a launch.
See that really
That's how
goes to say
forgettable.
how forgettable the perks are. Like I only used 4 of them.
How many original perks were there?
Okay,
Off
listen.
launch.
The tortoise one. That one was OP.
Victorious Tortoise?
That one was OP because you could just sit there by a shield buy on classified
Yeah.
and get to whatever round you want.
That's a complaint I have about Classified. Why is the Easter egg to get to round 150? And on top of that,
Guys, 5 was like the original map that people were like high rounds because it had so many traps. So they wanted to like give back to high round people because high round people, they never got anything. Like you don't get anything for going to those high rounds other than bragging rights. So they wanted the 5 remaster.
then
Okay.
there
to, like,
should have been
call-
something extra.
Okay, and there
There
also
should have been the main
been
Easter egg.
like a way to get to it
We'll
because
do-
at the
we'll do
no,
high
no, no,
round.
no, no, no,
do high round
no,
people
no,
get
right?
anything?
Let me talk for once.
Listen to what Matt has to say because
Yes.
I was about to say.
Yes. For at launch, the bugs were so bad and the crashes were so bad you couldn't even get to one.
No, I remember watching Noah
That's
J.
Activision's fault.
I remember Noah
It's
J.
still a problem
on
with the
round
game.
49 with one dog left. He's like, I would just like to make all these claims first. He's like, yes, I'm in cartoon mode. Why am I in cartoon mode? If you're
Yeah.
in regular mode, the game will crash.
Yeah.
He's like, you're also probably asking, is this a glitched game? Yes, it is. I had to not hack the game, but like had to do a glitch to where all I had were dogs.
Yeah.
And he's like, is this legit? No, it is not. But this is the only way possible. We can actually get to round
Yes.
150
Everyone
and
was
see the
doing-
cutscene at this moment.
Everyone was giving shit like, "Oh, what'd you hack?" It's like we can't get there.
You
like
can't beat the
legit.
Easter egg.
No.
Like the Game
legitimately.
Revolution did it, and people hated on him.
Yeah, it's like
But
why?
you can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
And like, let me do my point from earlier. I know you were saying like there should have been a way to do the Easter egg other ways, but like there's no other way to do the Easter eggs for high round people in other maps. So like I don't think there should be another way for like casual people to do it in this one because this map is
Well,
for high round.
I don't
people.
think there should have been another way. I just think they should not have done a high round thing in the first place. That's just a dumb idea because
it
like,
shouldn't have been 150. It should have been 100. If you're
I
gonna
just
do
don't
it.
think.
That's
I think they
true
should have
as
added
well.
in some kind of Easter egg somehow.
But
Somehow.
I understand.
But they don't
you get
add
to-
any for high round people in other maps. That's why they
Well-
wanted this map to be harken back to 5 from BO1 because that was like the map that popularized just like
I think what they should
all
have
those
done
people.
was say you get to round one, like you finish the Easter egg with all the like a legit Easter egg step process. You get a cutscene and you keep playing, and the cutscene either isn't like the complete cutscene or like it has a certain ending.
I was gonna
and
say
then
the
you
same
get
thing.
then say if you do the Easter egg. And then you get to round
Right,
150.
yeah.
Then you
You
get
get
the
something
full
extra.
canon ending or something extra.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been the Easter egg to get to 150. Getting you to 150, yeah, you should have got some extra. That would have been cool, but not the
Like a
Easter
teaser
egg.
at like
I think
DLC
every
1
map-
or something.
Every
you know?
map should give you something
Yeah.
for going to those high rounds because high round people get nothing. And I feel
Other
bad.
than like,
other than just being like, hey, I
and
gotta
plus
go
no
100.
one watches for high rounders.
And especially on Cold War because the XP drops off at like 30.
Yeah.
So like it's, I just feel bad for
But-
high round people.
Going off of like the bugs and glitches again and crashes, that was the worst thing.
All right, guys.
That's a
Go
classic
on this
example.
Easter egg.
That is a classic example of quantity over quality because they made 4 maps that all had really bad glitches, really bad mechanics.
Listen,
just to put out
let
one
me
map.
just say, this is not Treyarch's fault. This is pure Activision because
That's
they
true.
were
Could've
developing.
been, yeah.
What Activision did is every mode had equal development: campaign, multiplayer, zombies. And then Activision saw Fortnite in the middle of their development, and they're like, "Do that." You know,
That's
they're like,
another
"Do that."
thing.
So they scrapped the campaign. They pulled from zombies and they pulled from multiplayer. That's why everything was so unfinished.
Why
Is because
did
they
they
scrapped
scrap-
together Blackout as quick as they could.
on top of that,
like-
what's even worse is they wanted to release it earlier to compete with the other games that were coming out, and the other games were Red Dead 2, Spider-Man, God of War,
Yeah, God of War.
and Fortnite Season 6. And can we talk about how literally every single one of those games
Was better?
succeeded and was fun, except for BO4.
Yeah.
Fortnite Season 6 was fun. God of War won Game of the Year. Spider-Man could have won Game of the Year in any other year. Same with Red Dead 2.
Black Ops 4 just got shit on.
No, Red Dead 2
repeatedly.
won every single award it was nominated before, except I'm pretty sure it was gonna win Game of the Year, but they saw that it won every single other one. They're like, God of War's gotta win something.
And then Fortnite Season 6 was actually really fun. So like,
I just don't think. I am so pissed to this day why they replaced campaign. One of the thing that was Call of Duty was founded upon with Blackout, just to ride waves, which I guess that's not
They should have
Treyarch's-
done what
that's
Modern
not
Warfare
Treyarch's
did.
fault.
Kept Blackout saved for like the spring. You know, you get the launch, you build up your game, then you bring in the battle royale later. Whenever everybody's like having fun with the game, they're getting a little tired of like the multiplayer, and then you're like, here's the battle
and
it
royale.
shouldn't have
I-
cut funding from the main modes.
No.
If anybody says specialist missions are the campaign, I will kill you.
It's not.
You're dead.
They're just multiplayer training
They are
things that
just
have
bots.
cutscenes.
They are bots. That's it. And the whole storyline behind those was kind of dumb. Actually, the twist was a little bit cool.
There was
But there was no
glitch.
campaign, so it's not cool anymore because there's no missions besides bots.
No, I remember hopping on to BO4 for the first time, and I'm like, I saw multiplayer. I was like, okay. Zombies, okay. I think League Play may have been there at the time.
And-
I was like, okay, League Play. And then I was like, where's campaign?
Yeah.
Google it.
There's a little square.
No,
Yeah,
there's a little square.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
just
specialist,
multiplayer.
and you're like,
it's just
what?
it's just tutorials to play with this
Yeah.
multiplayer specialist, and then you get a little cutscene after them, and then whenever you do all of them, you get like a little. If you do something,
You know what
you can
BO3
start
did for a
war.
tutorial?
BO4 multiplayer I heard wasn't bad. I heard people enjoyed BO4.
Now, the one thing I like that they changed was the health. You had to manually heal
We can't-
yourself.
Matt, what are you wanting?
No, you want to
Every time I try to say something,
Okay, go say
it's
it,
like
say
BO4. Okay,
Well, that's what we're talking about.
now, now I forgot what I was going to talk about.
Tom your totem.
Yes.
No, we have to.
Actually,
We're gonna go through the map.
Tom
Sorry,
Toad's
we're
gonna be the
talking about
We have to save Tog for the
Okay.
last because
Yeah, that is
honestly,
true.
in my opinion, it's the worst map in
Yeah.
that game. I think it's worse than
Okay.
Voyage.
That triggers me because you said the gameplay was good
What?
about Tog. You said it's not that bad once you start playing it.
No, but I don't think any of the maps are that bad. But I think out of them all, Tog's the worst. I don't think any of them, the core gameplay is bad. I think of all of them, Tog just fails in every single other level.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Let's talk about DLC 1. How none of us knew it was coming, and it just came.
That is true.
Dead of
All
the
the marketing,
Night.
all the
Guys, we
marketing
skipped
was
launch.
just.
We
was
just talked about
Yeah, we
launch.
just talked about launch. It's shitty. Okay, so DLC 1, like
Make maps.
all the marketing leading up to DLC 1, yes, there was literally none.
The marketing was accidentally got this character.
I
model.
Yeah. I was like accidentally leaked the cutscene. Like,
Literally, I
oh,
remember
shit.
I was working with Bri, and he was like on his lunch or something. I saw he was on his phone watching a video. I'm like, "What are you watching?" He's like, "Oh, just this guy talking about Dead of the Night." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Dude, it's DLC 1." I'm like, "DLC 1's out?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Nobody said anything about it because nobody had an idea like what was going to happen.
And then in DLC 1, Dead of the Night, they had a very gratuitous, just Verruct copy where you split the spawns for all of like 2 minutes because it's two doors and
Yeah.
you're back together. It's not like Verruct where it's a little
Yeah.
hectic at
But
first.
DLC 1, Dead of the Night, was the first map ever to introduce a live, like, a actual, I guess, what do you call it? Not the cartoon cutscenes. What do you call the cutscenes that are like actual?
Oh, the
cinematic.
yeah.
To have a cinematic cutscene that had a car in it. A running car.
That's something to
That
say.
is so
I guess.
innovative.
Dude, Dead of the Night is probably. I actually completely forgot that map existed because it's so
Everyone
bad.
forgets about it.
It's not even like
It's not a bad map.
In Origins, like in mod, you could actually like redo everything in that map. I thought and still have fun like after a bunch of times playing. At least me, I can. But that map, I did it like once and I was like, this sucks. This isn't fun. You gotta find the symbols and shit for like
the pack punch
everything.
process.
I
in
hear
the
that
map
was
is key.
I hear
ridiculous.
people hate the, was it Nosferatus?
Those
Yeah.
are hard.
And the vampires.
And then didn't you say there was some kind of thing where you could like cheat the system and like keep getting silver bullets? And
Okay, here's what you do. You bring the rocket launcher. You go get that. You bring in PhD slider. You craft the silver bullet.
Slider.
And all you do
That's
is
that's
all you do is you'll look at the ground and then just shoot the rocket launcher. And then whenever you're done, just hold square and
how the
buy
Helion-
silver
How
bullets.
the Helion salvo is the best
Yeah.
sniper weapon in
That
Black
is
Ops
true.
4.
Wasn't there like a bunch of different like complicated steps to get different versions of like that pistol or some shit?
Yeah, you
Oh.
had to constantly
And
upgrade it.
Isn't it the Annihilator? Is it
Pretty
the one
much.
weapon,
It's
the
probably just a
Annihilator?
retextured Annihilator that has like
No,
a
it's
green effect.
it's actually a fun.
It's called
it's
the
a fun
Annihilator,
gun
though.
to use.
Like it's called like Anna Stiller's like.
It's
Alistair's or
Alistair's
something.
I
Annihilator.
like it. I thought it. People were saying like the basic version of it should have been added into every map as like the ray gun because it basically the first version was just a ray gun.
I forgot the ray gun. Wait, no, the ray gun wasn't even in Dead of the Night. Dude,
No,
I
it
forgot the
wasn't
ray gun
in-
even
it's not in
existed
Chaos
in
maps.
BO4 at all.
Well, and it kept getting worse with it.
Yeah, that is true.
BO4, it was like you got it. You're like,
Dude, the ray gun sucked ass, man.
That's another. That's not BO4 specific. That's just the ray gun ever since BO3.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Which I didn't
a
mind
little
it
bit
that
in
much of
BO2.
BO3. I didn't mind it that much of BO3.
But BO2 introduced the Mark II, so that made it a little bit better.
yeah, because then you got the Mark One. You're like,
Yeah, I'll come with the Mark II.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking
another
of
thing.
the Mark II, let's go to Alpha Omega real quick.
Alpha Omega, everyone's
I was
hyped
thinking-
about
I
it.
was
It's,
like,
it's
wait.
basically DLC 1 for
Yeah,
us because
I was-
it's actually
It's actually
story.
Ether.
I
yeah.
was actually thinking, I was like, wasn't the Mark II like in BO4 at some point? I actually
yeah,
don't
it
remember
was.
BO4
There
at
was
all.
four
I was
of
like,
them.
oh yeah.
Oh, there were
Omega.
5. There were 5. You get the basic Mark.
Okay.
You get the basic
Okay,
one.
let's just start out by the fact that every Ether map in BO4 is just a
Okay,
remake.
I don't think I don't agree with Alpha Omega being called a remake because the basic Nuketown map is non-existent. The path is completely different, and you walk through it.
Well, most of the map wasn't it already in Blackout?
It was. That can
That-
the case,
yeah, that's
the
already
case
textured.
can be mapped, but you have to think about every single zombies map before World at War. All those zombies maps, all of their locations ripped from campaign. Black Ops, most of that stuff ripped from campaign. BO2 was the first one where they started to not really do campaign stuff, but still, like Die Rise used stuff from campaign. Like there's parts where you go to like China and like all that. Like every single COD game.
See, I don't really mind it for World at War because it was such an old game. Was Kino in the Kino was definitely not in the-
Ascension was.
Kino
in the
was
campaign.
from World at War. Ascension was in the campaign.
Ascension was straight like from the campaign.
Ascension is from the Black Ops campaign. You can walk through some of Ascension.
Oh,
in
that's
that
in
one, in
the
the mission where Weaver gets his eyes stabbed
yeah.
out.
Okay. Huh. I didn't even notice that actually.
And then moving like every single game, Zombies
Okay.
always uses
But
reuses textures.
I will say that those were older games. I know. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, plus
Older
BO3 took
games.
nothing from the campaign.
and it's
Yeah.
not their fault because they got ripped funding.
Yeah, but like BO4, yeah, I guess so. BO4 is just
BO4
like,
took
that's
nothing
such
from the campaign.
a later game. Yeah, that is true.
We're just talking ripping. And speaking of ripping assets, we know Shinonuma's coming because in one of the multiplayer maps, there's a doctor's quarters sign.
Nice, of course.
And they're just reusing the asset
Yeah.
from them developing the Shinonuma map.
Yeah.
Did they skip Verrucht? What the fuck?
Speaking
No,
of,
I didn't like how
Dude,
it, all of them
totally
were.
forgot Verrucht.
Okay, even just one. Okay, dude, this. Okay, I have to do it. I have to get into the Tiger Tone.
Okay,
I've
you just
tried
gotta
so
get it
many
out.
times and I've stopped myself so many times.
let's just talk about it.
So the fact that
Talk about what you were expecting before.
I even one non-remade map, just completely new, would have been okay with me if I just had one. And Tiger Totem was supposed to be that because it was in the Great War, and because at the very end of Alpha Omega, they literally say, "We're going back to the Great War, Eddie. We're going to fight the Great War." So naturally, they're like, "Yes, finally, we can see the Great War." But then, we didn't get it. We got Call of the Dead.
Let's talk about what we were expecting before we knew it was going to be Call of the Dead remade. Because I remember me and you were talking. We were talking about like what we were wanting, and you were
Yes.
like, dude,
I wanna get
there's
into
gonna be
that.
like 12. We were talking about how there was 12
Yeah.
characters. Where this would be a perfect time for PvP. The Great War. It would
Yeah.
be awesome. Just to be able to see, be able to fight Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man.
Dude, okay. The thing is, like, I had a vision for what the cutscene should have been. First of all, none of that whatever comic bullshit.
It was actually cinematic. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully it was cinematic. What I was expecting was like, at first you have to like maybe team up with Monty or the Shadow Man or something to defeat the other one, and then at the end maybe you have to boss fight against the other one
You pick.
or something. But then at the very end,
Alternatives?
the Ultimus and Primus were like dying there, and they're like, "We're gonna lose." But then Victus
Victus.
comes through.
Yes.
Wow,
You
and it's a boss
You
fight.
switch to Victus.
Yeah.
Like imagine like it's like Blood of the Dead.
Imagine that!
It's
How
like,
cool that would have been.
It's like Blood of the Dead where you
Because,
switch.
isn't it in the intro cutscene where they come out of the vaults, come out
Yeah.
of the freezers or whatever? and-
Because I knew that they were going to come later on. I knew that, but playing as Victus the entire time is cancer because I hate Victus. But if you're in the boss fight, you're not going to think about it.
You're like Victus.
They're
is
just
back.
going to be giving
Exactly.
badass, like, be like, "Oh, you got to shoot it," blah, blah, blah. Like, they would have given
the
they
lack
give
of
badass quotes.
paperwork.
Okay, let me talk. Here's what I thought. Here's what I thought TOG was going to be. I thought we were going to go back to Origins, but not be like the Origins we knew. It was going to be the original, like
Yes,
the
it did the original
battlefields of the
stabs.
Great War.
That's what I thought we were going to get was
We-
the original stabs.
The
Yeah.
actual
Okay,
powerful stats
that's-
that
okay.
weren't Maxis's creations.
The thing is, I think a lot of people misconstrue what Samantha said, like, in Origins, as like the replicas are the first versions, non-upgraded, but the original versions, I think, have always just been the upgraded versions of the Origin stabs. That's what I'm thinking.
But no, like those you get the power of them from the
I
the
think
crystal.
I
You get
think
the-
they're actually the real stabs, though.
No, but they still have Maxis's components on it. That's why.
I think,
But I was
they're
hoping we would
completely
get like the.
transformed, though.
I know, like if you reload them, the reload animation is still like mechanical and stuff.
I know, but they add like different knives
Yeah.
and shit on the front.
But that's no, those are already on it. They just extend out for some reason. Like if you look, they're like it's like a Swiss Army knife up the top by their
Well-
like tongs, and then they come out whenever you upgrade them. I think that's just a gameplay mechanic because you can see the knives. It's like a Swiss Army knife, like on the ice staff. You know, it has like is it 3 or 4 prongs?
It's 4.
It's 4 prongs. There's like slates in the middle, and then the knives come out whenever you get it.
I'm just under the assumption that that's probably just the original stabs. And I think people were just getting worked up, like, oh, we're gonna. But I see the hype. Like that would have been awesome.
Listen, it should have ended where it began. Like not like Knocked. I don't really consider Knocked to
Origins
or
is more
to
of a
Varied
beginning.
as like that. I think Origins to Tog is its own story, which I think Cold War to whatever it's going to go to is going to be its own story. But like, it should have ended where it began, which was Origins, which would have been awesome.
I honestly was satisfied with the revelations in it. Because,
I was too.
Because first of all, it said the end. Granted, it was like the end ... So like, it wasn't really like the end, but like, it completed the cycle. And then on top of like completing like the cycle, that's what zombies is. You play, you die, you play again. It's a cycle when you play.
You die,
Yeah.
Monty sends you back to retry.
But okay, they should have made that a better like build up, I guess. Like made it more epic.
Also, the boss fight for Revelation.
Because
was
Yeah.
But the only thing they really said in that cutscene was like, it's a cycle. The end. They should have made
also,
it more epic.
Didn't Jason
what I was
Blundell-
expecting
Didn't Jason Blundell say that he had like a really long cutscene, but he cut it off?
Yeah, that's another shitty thing. He could have put in so much more thought.
Okay, here's I'm gonna do a little BO3 backtrack real quick. Here's what I thought they should have done was you do the whole BO3 thing. Once you do all the Easter eggs, it's like Infinite Warfare. You unlock a potential for a super Easter egg, okay? Now in Infinite Warfare you could change characters. You play Spaceland as well as Wyler, then alternate things happen.
Yeah.
Then you get into the Mephistopheles boss fight. What I think should have happened was you play through BO3 and then you get Primus Richtofen as a character that you can put into Shadows of Evil. So he has the summoning key from the get-go. Then, that way at the end, he doesn't come in and take it. There's something different. He goes, you take it already, you go to the giant, you get them, like, he still kills them, but then you go and fight Monty.
That would
like
be the
a sort of
coolest
like
fucking thing
Mephistopheles, a Mephistopheles boss fight.
Yeah.
Boss fight.
Yeah.
There should've-
Like I thought that's how it should have been. Was like you did the
I
Shadows
think-
of Evil Easter egg again, but it ended differently, and then it just threw you into the Mephistopheles sort of boss fight with Monty.
The super Easter egg was kind of disappointing with BO3. I mean, all you got was Arcade 5.
Yeah. I think,
And a lot of
that
XP.
would have been super cool because at least, like, it would have, I don't know.
Because then the ending
Treyarch
sure
has-
was disappointing, but it wasn't the end.
Or like in
That was
Chronicles,
the cycle.
or like in Chronicles, whenever you played Origins, if you completed all of them. like, you
Treyarch
did
just
something
has a
really
habit
nice.
of ending stories just so badly, I think.
I would have forgiven them
Well-
if like the Chronicles Origins Easter egg ended differently, because like we're on a different cycle now. We're not on because the Chronicles maps are all different from their original counterparts. They're remasters, but they take place in fractured universes. Like they're their own things.
Like, I mean, a lot of it is they don't want to make a complete ending because Activision's probably like,
Money.
you guys need
Yeah.
to
I
continue
like
the
money.
story.
Can we
Which
just go-
I don't know why they can't just continue, like, end the story and then, like, say in between the events of Moon and the events of Transit. Like, there's
Something
a lot of
else happened.
times there. Like, they could talk more about, like, what happened with Broken Arrow and all kinds of stuff like that.
Cold
But
War is
they-
the right direction.
Like, you could just talk more about what has already happened instead of trying to branch
Expand.
out and make a new story.
Expand the story, expand the universe.
Say,
That's all you
expand the
gotta
story.
do.
You don't have to continue the story.
Like Mob of the Dead is the perfect example of it's in the universe, but it's its own story. And of course, now we know Mob of the Dead's like one of the most important maps.
I didn't
in the
hate that
story.
they actually eventually connected Mob of the Dead. I wanted to know so bad, so I'm glad they finally connected it to like the other
Well, we
characters and
knew.
stuff.
He always said that Mob of the Dead was like the most important.
Yeah.
We just didn't know to what extent.
Yeah, exactly. I
And-
wanted to see a crossover so bad, and that's another reason why the build up for BO4 was just so good. I was like, I've been waiting since I was like 13 to see why this map is so important, and finally I could see that. And then the actual map wasn't. I didn't say it was. I don't know if it's bad, but
Hey guys, this is Bry from the Griffin Station podcast. You might also know me from That Guy Bry. Probably not, only got 9 subs. It's not a part of the point. If you're listening to this, thank you for helping us raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Every listen helps, and we appreciate it. Now today, we are sponsored by Anchor.fm. Let me explain what Anchor is. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Now, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy.
Okay, just back to BO4. The graphics are somehow worse.
Yes.
Like, I don't...
Okay,
How
they
do
look a little bit
you go
cartoony.
ahead and you make it worse? And it just feels wrong. It feels
I think
stiff.
the Smith Plays made a really good point. He's like, if you go back to Shadows of Evil and the first day was or like the launch, you look at that map, it's beautiful. Like it's just the tone is perfectly set. It's just a
Detail.
dark. Yeah, the detail. It just perfectly sets up just kind of like a noir kind of feel. I
I
guess.
love the shadows.
Dude, it's such a good feel. But then you go to like not, I shouldn't say 9. Just like any of the BO4 maps, and they just look stale. Just kinda
Yeah.
They're not
boring.
detailed.
Yeah.
I'd say the base graphics are about the same. It's just there's not as much care and detail put into each individual
Like,
map.
you
They're
look
just
at-
basic. They feel like custom maps.
I hate to bring World War II into this, but the graphics on World War II
Amazing.
are beautiful. The cutscenes
Might
are
be the best
beautiful.
graphics in any COD.
But then you go down to BO4, and it's just like.
Yeah, somehow it got worse.
And then you go back
more
to
time
then you go to
passed.
Modern Warfare, and Modern Warfare looks good, and it's just like you see how bad BO4 is.
Yeah.
Say what you will about World War II, those cutscenes, oh my god.
Cutscenes look good.
Oh my.
They
Like,
put effort into their zombies, whether you think it was fun or not. They put a lot of effort.
They
into
had,
it.
I think they had the passion for their zombies.
I-
Same with
I
Infinite
think-
Warfare. Infinite Warfare had the passion.
That's a whole nother topic for me. There's a million things I could say about World War II as well because just like the
Well,
characters were
maybe next
forgettable.
week.
Okay, one thing.
I don't know if we can do
okay.
a whole hour about World War II.
Well, not World War, just
No,
other
about
side.
okay. I want to talk about side
zombies.
modes, and eventually want to do a video about side modes because I think that some of them are forgotten. And I think they're okay, but one thing I can say about all the other side modes besides Treyarch Zombies is that the fact that the storylines suck. They're terrible.
Oh, they do.
The World War II storyline
Sucks.
What
Doesn't
the
make
fuck was
sense.
even about?
I don't know.
It's about finding some art
the
or some
last
shit.
The last cutscene just
Dude,
made
the
no
last
sense.
cutscene was terrible. I
It made
remember
no
the
sense.
final
What was
one.
it? Frozen Dawn was the last
Yeah.
one, and it was just like
Yeah.
it made no sense.
The guy
There's,
like
yeah.
floated up in
words.
like a T-pose sort of looking.
Yeah, and the
thing.
guy was like, "This is not the end." And I was like, "Yeah, it is because they're definitely not
They're
going to
not
make a sequel
making
to
a
this fucking
sequel.
game." Yeah,
That was the same thing with Infinite Warfare. They wanted to make a sequel, and it just didn't work.
I
out.
they
kinda-
always set up sequels because Activision wants them to do that, but then
You know,
the
No,
game
it
sucks.
I kind of feel like Modern Warfare Zombies would have been cool, but I'm glad they took. a
I'm
year
glad
off from
that
Zombies.
I just wish
They
they would have
needed
done a
to,
better
yeah.
Spec Ops mode. I think that, but this is a topic for a different podcast. I think.
Yeah, which we're gonna go. Which in the future we're gonna go and we're gonna play all the side
Yes,
modes.
and I really want Sam to play Extinction and stuff like that. 'Cause
Extinction's
was
fun.
It's fun, but the storyline sucks. Like I said, it's terrible.
It's not round based. You go in, you plant the bomb, and you leave. And
I
it's
think-
awesome. Like I love the whenever
Yeah.
whenever you like this is just a short thing. We'll go more in depth whenever we do the side
Yeah,
the
exactly.
side game modes. You plant that bomb, and you have a time to run back through the entire level and get back to your helicopter before that nuke goes off. That is tense.
It was really good. I think that's kind of like the first Exfil. It's like the first.
It really is.
Exfil,
honestly,
I love
they
Exfil, but it's
stole
not
it
as
from
tense.
Extinction.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah,
I will
that's,
say
that's
that.
true. No, but I really like Extinction. We will get into that. I think we also
did
need
they
to make
steal
a
it from Extinction because Sledgehammer did also help make this game.
That is true.
Maybe they just
We don't
copy-pasted.
know the amount
Activision
of
is
input.
fucked. Let's just all say Activision is terrible.
Dude, if Treyarch ever just got away from them, it'd be
Yeah.
like Bungie finally got away from Activision for
Dude.
Destiny, and Destiny 2 is just so damn good. And if Treyarch ever got away,
Activision fucks games just for money.
see, I would like. You look at EA. EA is getting so much better. I think they realized that they were a shitty game company, and then they came out and they made Jedi Fallen Order, and you're like, that, and it sold like the most any of their games had. And like 2 years ago, they said that single player games weren't selling anymore, and
There's-
then they released one, and it sells
Yeah.
so well. And I think they're finally realizing that they're just not a good company, and they want to change it around. Like they're doing so many good things. I think it's Battlefront 2. Look at that. They changed that around.
Okay, so I think wrapping up, I think there's one final point we didn't really talk about, and that's the elixir system in
yeah.
BO4. Is there anything else that we missed in BO? I don't think there really is.
Nah, I think
I mean, just
we got the major
play the
points.
game and you'll realize.
You play it, and then you'll know what we talk about.
Yeah, I forgot about the elixir system though because apparently it was terrible as far as progression because you would play like so many games and finally get enough for like a spin, like one spin, and then Lex did a whole video on like the details and stuff about that. Like
Yeah.
if you pay like $5, you get like a couple spins, but if you spend like a couple hours in zombies,
Microtransactions.
yes. you have to pay more money, and that's shitty. They should make it a way for you to grind in game to get the same
Just
amount.
do the same thing as Liquid Definiums.
BO3s was great. Like, you hit round 7, there were round caps. You got to those rounds, every 7 rounds you would get one.
And plus, if you did a high round, like you
would
could
get a
easily
bunch.
get because you would just buy a wall weapon,
And that was a
refill
reward
ammo.
to high round people, and then but obviously streamers,
And then
Noah's
also-
just gonna get 1,000.
One of the biggest complaints about BO3's Gobble Guns was the fact that Perkaholic, you can get all perks on round 1. They were like, okay, we'll do away with that in BO4. That's good. You can bring in 4. You can use them whenever you want. I kind of like the changes they added in.
I like how you
But
use them whenever.
But
And they brought
then,
back Perkaholic.
but then they brought back Perkaholic.
Yes.
It's like, what is the point?
And shopping. Free.
What the fuck
And
is
then
the
they made
point?
Alchemical Antithesis a
Ultra Rare
Mega.
Mega.
Yeah. And
Which
the
made it
balancing was
bad.
off. Also, the talismans I didn't like. I never used
What
a
was the
single one.
talismans?
I never used one, but
Talismans, what
I
were
thought
they?
they were a little cool.
What
Like, there
were
was
they?
one where you
There was
one start with an LMG, and you could put an LMG in your create a class slot.
I know,
whatever
but
LMG you want, or
in Blood, you could spin the box on round 2 and get an LMG, and then
Yeah.
you could get a free Hades in 9. It's just like all the guns were overpowered too. I think it was too easy. It's just like
BO4 was too easy, but then also too hard because the super sprinters.
I think one talisman was cool, and that was the fact that you got a lot more shield health.
Yeah.
Which that could be useful for high rounds, but all the rest of them I saw was just the beginning rounds, spawn with a 3rd tier a specialist weapon. It's it doesn't take long at all to get a 3rd tier.
The only thing it did was help on Easter egg speedruns, you
I
can
guess,
bring in the
yeah.
weapon you want that you can take through, and
But,
then you're done. You don't have to spend that time getting
the
it.
vast majority of people aren't going to speed run this Easter egg.
It's BO4.
It's just all the balancing was off in BO4. Everything was added in a lot of new shit, which
They
I'm
fired Jason
I
Blundell.
respect them for trying new things, but none of that worked.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
I think it was needed to try these things, get them out of their system, and be like this. I think if they had the funding, it could have been lived up to the potential that they wanted it to. I think all their ideas were good. They just didn't. They didn't have enough time.
Also, the storyline for Chaos sucked, and I'm glad it's gone.
It's gone, man.
And they just, man, all the Easter eggs in the map were just terrible. I mean, the side Easter eggs were terrible.
Yeah.
They added nothing. The ciphers were bad. It's like,
Ugh. I like how Cold War is adding the side Easter eggs as we go, so they're
Yeah.
not all found out on day one.
True.
ending on a positive note. I mean, yeah, Cold War.
Cold War's
Cold
great.
War is the saving grace of BO4.
Let's just hope we get more content besides Jingle
Yes.
Hells.
Sometime in February will be when Season 2 comes out.
We know when Season 2 is
And
coming
we're
out.
gonna
On the
get
Battle
it.
Pass, there's a countdown. We're 69 days away from the next Zombies map.
69, 420.
So, I think it's sometime in
yeah.
February, though. We'll get Shino Numa remastered.
Firebase Z. I hope that, there's a little bit of Shino Numa in it. It's not just Shino Numa.
I mean, Shino Numa is a small map, so, if it's...
I
it'd
don't
be
mind
very
it
hard to
not.
make a Shino Numa remake and expect people to like it, but...
And the fact it's going to be in Vietnam and not Japan, that's going to change up the whole locale. We're just going to see, the
Yeah.
huts and stuff.
I'm excited
So-
to see Vietnam's on.
So, yeah, it might not be, Shino Numa remastered. It might just have, the huts. And,
It'll just be like how Deep Machine handles Noct, which I like.
Yeah.
And then it allows for easy, maybe they'll add a Noct survival map. We can have more content.
True.
They can just retool the map and be block off these parts, and then boom,
could
just
do
play
that.
a different map. And yeah. So this has been the Griffin Station podcast.
Yes, we are remaining positive for the future, even though Jingle Hills kind of is boys.
And what do we think we'll talk about next week? Do we know?
Probably Cranked.
Cranked if it comes out?
Yeah.
They said later in the season. I think that'll be a mid-season. I'm not expecting that for another month.
If we can't come up with anything else, I would be down to talk about
Well, no. On
non-Treyarch
last
Or-
week we said COD. We would talk about COD campaigns.
That was gonna say that.
We
yes.
could talk about COD
We said
campaigns.
we were going to eventually talk about COD campaigns, and I think that would be
We could do it.
Either
that'd
that-
be a good break from zombies.
Eventually, best zombies maps. I think we should also talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
here's what we want to do. We want to do this small thing weekly where this podcast comes out on Mondays. Maybe on Thursdays we'll do a little map look back. We'll talk about our favorite moments from that map. So maybe in a Thursday in a few weeks from now, Noct will come out and we'll just go through the maps.
Mm-hmm.
We may do non-Treyarch, but I think we're just going to stick to Treyarch for the most part because we've all played those a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been the Griffin Station podcast, and
As always, he does indeed have a gun.